YTPC, Ford Smoking Pipes here. Got the Graybo freehand and the Byzantium of the Insantium, or the Insantium of the Byzantium. Backwards and forwards there, friends. Let's travel back to 1989. Back then, if you wanted to enter DogPatch, you went up on top of the hill, up to the gift shop. You'd enter the gift shop where you could buy all your hats and your shirts and your toys, flags, souvenirs, statues, glass rocks, figures. A lot of artisan stuff was in that shop. The whole park was actually had different artisan vendors over the years. One guy done homemade ropes and bull whips, and one guy blew glass. It was quite a sight to see. We had woodwork, wood carvers, and a bunch of stuff. Quite neat to go down there. It was built like a little town. You know, like I said before, it had characters that played the mayor and had a witch that roamed around and things like that. Anyway, once you got into the gift shop, you buy your ticket. I don't quite remember just how much it was back then now, but I can tell you that whenever you bought it, you went over to a turnstile, went through, and you got on your first ride. You got on a tram. It was a cable-operated trolley car that went up and down the hill on tracks. And you get on there, and they'd be announcing the shows of the day and all the stuff going on. Usually, Pappy was on there. Whoever played Pappy at the time. I mean, Pappy changed over the years. But you come down that tram and you get off the bottom, and their typical saying as you got off is, "Have a heck of a day at DogPatch, USA." There's actually a documentary that just got done this past year, maybe two, on DogPatch. They filmed it down here in DogPatch, what's left of it, and they done a curtain call for a bunch of people that worked there. I didn't have time to answer them. I worked too much. It'd been a fun thing to do, though. Go and tell them all they wanted was stories about DogPatch USA. Anyway, once you got off that tram, you come on down to the information booth. It was just right down 80 feet away from it, whatever. Got your map. 1989, you would have got it from me. Maybe bought a balloon or rented a stroller for your young kids so you didn't have to carry them all the way, because it was quite a bit of walking. And at that point, you had a choice to go left or right. Now, if you went right, there were a few things back up in there before it was gated off. You had the animal show, which had dancing chickens sometimes. It had dogs. It had bear at one time. That was before I worked there, the bear. But and then you had the remote control pond. Remote control pond. It was a pond with remote control boats, which I had to clean and service every day. That was and shock the water to keep it clear. But your trout farm was up there, the headwaters. What was neat about that, the headwaters of the trout farm where they dammed it up come right out of the bottom of the bluff. Went up from a cave. And that cave would go through that entire mountain to the other side, actually. They gated it off years before that. You couldn't get in there. I guess somebody got stuck. Always leave it to one guy that's too thick to get through the crack, right? Anyway, come on back down by the information booth where we had all that stuff, and I'd wave as you went by. And you'd get into the boardwalk area where they had all the games, the ring toss, the darts, different things like that. It was really neat. And of course, you had multiple opportunities to stop and put a quarter in a gumball machine that was full of fish food, because you were paying to feed the trout for them. And just before the boardwalk was the actual trout farm and fishing hole. Now, you could pay to fish, and you're just guaranteed to catch one, because they threw feed every day, and those trout were used to something hitting the water and biting it. So it really didn't matter what you threw out there. They bit it, you got one. You could pay them for your fish, and I'm not sure the filleting was, I done a butterfly fillet on it, which is a boneless fillet for you that don't know. I think that might have been part of the actual pay to fish. Anyway, you can pay a little extra more past that, and they cook it for you and give you some waffle fries or French fries, whatever they were doing at the time, and get a drink. So it was a catch and cook type thing. It was pretty neat. It was pretty popular back before my time, and even while I was there. But people were starting to get more domesticated or something, or less nostalgic or whatever. So that kind of dwindled a little bit. Didn't quite do as much as it used to. But anyway, once you got past that and the boardwalk, then you were down near the rides. And at the end of the boardwalk, you go two different ways. We're going to go off to the left and up the hill today. Up there, you had the barrel ride. You had a small roller coaster up there, and you had a little restaurant up there, which restaurants were scattered in strategic places. I ate there quite a bit. They had a really good taco salad there that I liked. But this barrel ride, you get in this big old whiskey barrel looking thing, and it had big X's on it. And it was made to look up just like a whiskey barrel. And an old boy's figure of an old boy standing there looking half drunk holding a moonshine jug and talking about kickapoo juice, which in later days I was told the original kickapoo juice recipe was orange juice and soda water and some other citrus juice, which basically turned out to be Mountain Dew. I don't know if that was them copying it or if that was the original recipe and that's how Mountain Dew went about. Who knows? A lot of tales back in these hills. Anyway, you get in this barrel, right? You walk through the door in the side of it, walk out on the platform, and they'd put you over to the side, and they gave you, I believe there was a little seatbelt type thing on it, where they kind of buckled you in. It wasn't real tight, but it was enough to sort of keep you there. And I do mean sort of, because when that thing got to spinning, it'd suck you up against the wall. And that was the whole thing. Centrifugal force hold you up against that wall. And about halfway through that thing, the bottom of that barrel would drop about 3 feet. Yeah, it seemed that way. It might have just been one, maybe two, I don't know. But it dropped. And you were suspended against that wall. Well, you were sucked against that wall, but you didn't slide down to where the floor went. The floor was gone, and you were stuck to the wall, right? It was kind of spooky when the first time you tried that. The other thing is it didn't have a weight limit on it, and it was fun to watch, because needless to say, heavier people need more centrifugal force to hold them to that wall. That thing would start spinning, and we'd take bets on who started sliding, because they dropped that bottom, and all of a sudden you seen at least two almost every time, or sliding down that wall. Of course, then they were afraid that floor was going to get them when it come back. It'd come back slow. That way they could put their feet on it and push them back up, you know, real gentle like. But it was funny. You know, I rode it when I was young. But, you know, on our breaks, we'd talk a little bit. And like I said, we'd watch the people on the rides, things like that. After working there, you know, you didn't get as thrilled about the rides and stuff. They were still fun because we got, you know, we'd go down there on our days off. Sometimes get in free, sometimes just get a discount. We always got a discount on everything we bought, but that was real neat. And had a little roller coaster up in that corner. Pretty tight fit on the side of that hill. Of course, it had a lot of ups and downs. You had a lot of places to support it. I think that was the one, that was actually the one where you went up the barrel, if I remember right. Went up the barrel, straight up. So you were vertical going up, and you topped out, and you come around at a high rate of speed. Well, it felt like it because of the G-forces of the turn. It was pretty neat. I liked that one too for a little while, till I stopped liking roller coasters. But yeah, that was the upper corner of it. Next time we get together, we'll take you back down the hill and across the bridge. YTPC, be safe out there. 04 signing out.